Okay, you're both in the frame.
Good morning. Welcome to the Inside Look, brought to you by Gessel and Associates Insurance Agency. I'm your host this week, Alex Gessel, filling in for the old man today.
I wouldn't even say filling in. I'd have just said I'm your host this week and leave it at that.
Just leave it.
Yeah, and let Larry come back and fight it out like Game of Thrones style to get his chair back.
Fight to the death.
Yeah.
I dig it. Watch out, Dad.
Alex, this is going to be cool because we don't have a guest. We don't have Larry. We can get in depth on Alex Gessel because we never did that before.
Yeah. Now this is again a different show this week.
Yeah.
The tables have turned, my friend.
Every week is different.
Yeah, every week is different. Yeah.
So the first few weeks when Larry and I were doing the show, it was just the two of us, and we brought some guests in. But when you sat in, there was really no introduction of who you were, other than obviously we know you're related to Larry. But give people a little bit of your background, like you guys kind of. Where did you go to school?
I went to London High School.
And you guys still live out in London, right?
Correct. Yeah, we're out there, a little rural, behind Lake Choctaw community out there, just outside of London. I spent a lot of my time growing up out there at the lake with my friends.
But you guys drive all over the city to deal with
all
people.
over the state. Yeah.
Well, that is true.
Yeah.
I don't know who's putting on. It reminds me of those old movies you'd see in the '90s where somebody's trying to sell something and they're going like
just running from door to door,
from Cleveland to Dayton and all that.
Buy my stuff. Buy my stuff.
Yeah, you just got that thing, and I'm gonna break out my briefcase. Is that how it is? Is that the life of an insurance guy?
Not at all. Not at all. We work off of referrals a lot, obviously, and just brand recognition and getting our name out there. I'm fortunate enough to have the folks that I'm working with now. My dad has built quite an agency, as I'm sure you're aware.
Yes, he's told me many times to my face. No, it's interesting though because I met you guys through some networking groups, and then we were just kind of hanging out talking about
Shout
business.
Shout out to Am Spirit Tri-County Group.
That's right. We still have seats available. But what was weird about it was I'd never seen a father and son kind of combination.
Okay.
And you guys mirror each other to the point where you're kind of like finishing each other's sentences, which I was like, Larry or Alex, let the other person finish before you do it. But what was cool about it is
we've worked together a while.
I can tell. I kind of feel like you guys are bunkmates too, and you just talk about this morning, noon, and night. But when you guys were talking about why insurance, what it means to you to help people, it was a very genuine conversation. Like you really are both passionate about it, and I've never seen somebody get so excited about someone when they say a policy. Like, well, my policy is fine, and both of you, your eyes light up. What's that like when somebody brings their policy to you? Like, what's your feeling about it?
First off, it's something that I have the utmost gratefulness for. I'm very thankful for the opportunity because they're demonstrating that they have a lot of trust in me and my ability to review their policies. So it's good. I'm happy to help people because most always, I've probably heard the ads. I know you have.
Well, I wrote some of them. Yeah, I've heard them a lot.
Yeah. So, and it's very true. A lot of the policies we look at, almost all of them have mistakes or are overpriced.
That's what I want to get into, though. One of the things that you and Larry always say is 98% of, not just in a commercial sense. Yeah. You said that so many times, and I've watched people who are like, I'm going to bring my policy, I just want to look at it. Like I've seen people after a meeting like, hey, I just happen to bring this. You just happen to bring your insurance coverage with you?
Yeah,
you
just happen to have your inch-thick policy with you.
I happen to bring my canoe just in case we were going, But, they bring a policy to you, and I see you guys kind of comb through it, and you always find some little glaring, like, did you know this was in here? Did you know this was in here?
Yeah.
Is it kind of like being an archaeologist, like I'm looking for this thing that's buried?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a good analogy. It's a lot of fun to dig into those things, and sometimes it's carriers or markets that we've been actually looking at and thinking about partnership with them ourselves. So it's oftentimes it's exciting to get into the policies and really dig into that language, because it's attorney speak. It's legal. speak, and it can get complicated.
When you say attorney speak, I know that I was talking to you about way before we were doing these shows about when I had a law show that I did. And that lawyer could not stand insurance companies. But part of that was their
club.
Yeah, well, their lawyers, right? Their lawyers are the best. So if they've had to cover some kind of mishap, they find a way to put wording in there that's so confusing to the consumer. You have to have an agent, right? I couldn't just sit there and pour through my insurance coverage and go, I'm totally covered. I need someone that can decode this for me.
Yeah, it's written in, again, legalese, and something that, it's not meant to be easily decipherable. It's a contract. It's a legally binding contract between you and the insurance company, and it's always to their favor. The house always wins type of situation.
Right.
So
Well, it totally is a casino, right? You're
Yeah.
paying for something, hoping that if you ever need it, it's going to pay off.
Correct.
But the casino's not letting you walk out with the money. You're going to have to
That's
earn
right. Yeah. You're
it.
gonna have to.
No, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
You're gonna have to prove coverage existed at the time of loss.
Right.
It's one of those where, they are happy to pay when they can find coverage. So making sure that coverage is there, and that's where the agent comes into play, and making sure that the right coverage is in place. So if when and if loss does occur, you're good.
So you spent over a decade doing this. How long
Roughly
did
a decade. Yeah.
Well, how long did it take you to really get ramped up to where a lot of people, when you're a professional and whatever it is, you spend 8 to 10 years doing it to the
Yeah.
point where you can do it like the back of your hand.
Yeah.
In your business, though, things keep changing, right? The little things here and there. How much additional work goes into just keeping updated with, what current policy is?
A ton. Constant meetings. And I've had to get more selective with the time and how I allot that. But a lot of the company reps want to come out and tell you how the product's changing and this and that. But it's a constantly evolving and changing landscape, and we're fortunate. Just within the last year, we joined a large alliance of agencies nationwide, and that's given us some additional insight and knowledge with the
So you can
industry.
share kind of best practices as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's a lot of sharing of knowledge and best practices in our industry between us and our peers. Yeah, it's very good stuff.
When you're kind of looking at individual policies, what do you look at for? I mean, I know what your dad would say. I want to get your take. Somebody comes to you and they have questions about their policy.
Yeah.
What's the most important thing to you personally?
Well, that's written in the correct name, I guess.
Well, what I meant was that might be more of an open-ended question.
Yeah, it's a pretty
here's what your
open-ended
dad
question.
will say. I'm looking at the person. I'm looking at them. How do I protect them?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
But I get what you're saying, because that also is correct.
Yeah.
But you have to kind of almost be attached to that person, at least for that time you're doing that, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, we don't write everyone's business, and I would like to be able to help everyone, but fact of the matter is, we're not the fit for everyone.
Right.
And that's a big part of what we've been doing as well, is trying to broaden our distribution channels and just ease of doing business. People want to work with us differently, and we want to be able to be that outlet for them. And we have the products, we have the markets available to us to offer superior product when combined with our knowledge and expertise. So, yeah.
Where do you find those people kind of find you when you're building a network of business? Because I don't want to harp on the business part of it, because here's what's very strange. I see people when they interact with you guys.
Yeah.
And it's a completely different feel. It's a very, I don't want to date it, but it's like the way that you looked at how people did business in the 60s, the 70s, maybe the early 80s. You're spending time with them.
Yeah,
It's not
absolutely.
send me an email, I'll look at this, I'll shoot it back to you. You guys really want to get down and dirty and read the thing in front of them.
We're very much a hands-on agency. I think that's what you're alluding to. We work very closely with our clients in helping them manage their risk, identify their exposures to risk first and foremost. You know, so there may be exposures to risk that they haven't even, you know, really noticed or recognized, and recognizing those, evaluating those, and helping them to manage those as best we can. You can never eliminate risk entirely, but
Well,
we're
every
help.
day's a risk, right? Driving
Every
here
day
today
is
to
a
do this
risk.
show was a
Yeah.
risk.
Yeah, having a car, owning a home, basically anything you do comes with risk. So we're here to help mitigate those risks, that those clients may face.
When you are driving around town, I know that this burns Larry, but I'm driving home and I see a billboard that says, save 25% right now just through calling one phone number. How do you even know, one, that I'm insurable, two, that I have insurance, three, that you could save me money? You can't know that, right?
Yeah, that's all fine and good. We can play the price game as well.
But you're
what
taking
are you
away,
paying for?
correct.
You
You're
know?
taking away some things
Yeah.
to save money.
Yeah,
And we
it's
get
a
in-
give and take. Yeah.
But we get into that state minimum coverage issue, right? Where everybody thinks, oh, I've got coverage because I have insurance.
Yeah.
That's not the case.
Absolutely not.
And I think we were talking about this a couple weeks ago, not in here, where it's like the time that your house is on fire is not the time you want to find out if you have insurance for fire in your house, right?
Yeah.
You got to be ahead of the game.
Which I hope you have fire insurance, but
Not me. I'm there to save money. I have state minimum. I'm
yeah.
just kidding. But when you're talking to somebody, do they ever kind of like buck back and go, no, I know I won't need that.
Daily.
But how do you fix that? Like, I've never talked to an agent that I could say, how do you, because you don't want to argue with them.
Yeah.
But you've got to find a nice way to kind of jam that in their pocket and say, you're really going to need this.
I just present the way it should be. I present the way it should be, give them the coverage I feel they should have, and if they really want me to take something off, I go through it. That's a big part of what we do, is explaining, what we're presenting to them, going through the coverages line by line. And if there are some things they feel they just really don't want, I can take it off. And oftentimes, usually people will opt to go with what I'm recommending.
Because what you're taking off is what? The difference is so minimal, right? It might be between
Yeah, it's
$3
like,
and $16.
man, is that $12 a year really worth it to you? Like, come on.
But that's my point, is people look at it and say they'd rather save money.
Yeah.
You want to be over-insured than under-insured, right? I mean, to an extent, you want to protect all your property.
There's a fine line there. You wanna find a nice harmony, a nice balance between with your coverage and price. You don't want to be overinsured. Absolutely not.
Well, tell me why then.
Well, you're not going to get anything out of it. For example, the limit on a policy is just the limit on a policy. Say we have your home insured for $250,000, right? That is the limit. That is the maximum the insurance company is going to pay. Doesn't mean that's what you're going to get if the house burns down. If the house burns down, it only costs $125,000 to rebuild it. Guess how much you're going to get?
I guess, yes, $125,000.
Yeah. So, at that time, you're overpaying for all that coverage. You're paying twice what you need to for the house.
But see, that's smart. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Now, with all my DVDs in there, it is probably I need the $250,000 policy. But I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
When you're going through this with people, do they even know what they have?
Usually not.
So how's that discussion?
Usually they're like, I'm like, hey, what are your limits of coverage in regards to auto? And people say things like, oh, I have full coverage.
Yes, I've heard people say that.
Great. That's great. Oh yeah, I have insurance. I hope you do. Oh, yeah. Right. No, you probably should. You're driving. But no, yeah, the public and the average consumer is horribly uneducated with regards to insurance, and
But don't you think that's because when they look at commercial, it looks so easy? Just call me, we'll get you a policy.
Yeah.
But that makes your job harder, right? Because if you would have gone back 20, 30 years, your job would have been easier because people would have called you knowing they need it. There would have been a local office where the guy that I had my insurance through when I was in high school, like I
Sure.
never would have changed it. It's kind of like a bank.
Yeah.
You go and open an account when you're 6 years old. There's $5 in it. You just go to that bank because that's who you bank with.
It just stays there for 50 years. Yeah.
Right, and now it's different. People are shopping for something that can literally change their life if they make a mistake.
Absolutely.
And they're buying it by price, not by knowledge.
Right.
They don't have knowledge of
It's
it.
a scary place to be in. Really.
Yeah, and
Right.
you were telling me a story of somebody had a problem and they had to call like an 800 number and wait in line, right?
Yeah.
They can get you guys on the phone.
Absolutely. Yeah. We really pride ourselves on our availability and just the overall ease of doing business, really, with our agency. Again, it comes back to the great staff around me, but also me, myself personally. I make my cell phone number available and try to stay on the line, stay available whenever a client would need me. Yeah.
But it's got to feel good when somebody needs, they need you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, absolutely.
When you take that call and they're panicking, you
Yeah.
can't panic.
No.
Or do you panic? I would, but I'm not
Oh,
an
no.
insurance.
Oh,
yeah.
no.
Oh, please, not me. But if they called you,
How bad is it?
that would be the best.
Are you bleeding?
I'm not prepared for this. I'm on vacation. But when they call you, you have to be a calming influence, right?
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
is that first 10 to 15 seconds the most important part of that phone call?
Yeah. The first maybe even 30 seconds to a minute when you're getting them to tone it down, lower their level, calm down. Is everybody all right? Are you hurt? Are the police coming? What's going on? Whatever the situation may be. Obviously I'm using an auto insurance analogy there.
Right.
But yeah, that's part of what I love about my job is being able to be there for those people in their time of need and helping people to mitigate those situations where when something happens, it's not really if, but when something happens,
Right.
they have the coverage they need and can get things rectified quickly.
I was just thinking of you
Appropriately.
as a young man,
Yeah.
the first time you take that call.
Uh-huh.
Because in any business, you survive by selling, right?
Right.
So you close a policy, but when you're 22, 23 and you get that phone call where they've called you directly and they've been in an accident and they're panicking and all that, what was that first call like?
The very first call. Oh boy.
I mean, because
It was kind of, it was a similar, just, calming them down, reassuring them like, hey, we're here for you. We'll handle this. You don't need to worry about a thing. We'll handle all of it, do the paperwork, make the contacts for you and everything. But it was one of those situations where it was like, I didn't know how to start a claim or file a claim. So
But how
I'm
did
calling
you
the
feel
office.
though? Did you feel like, I can't believe they called me of all people? You know what I mean? Like, because you knew, like you said,
Okay.
it's not if, it's when, and
Yeah.
when it does happen, that I can tell you the first time that I ever got a call where there was a bad thing that I had to handle.
Mhm.
I remember, you kind of say things out of adrenaline and you kind of go back like, can I even do what I just did?
Yeah.
Not that you can't, but it's that first time when you're a young man in a business and people put their trust in you that you're going to put them back on their feet. I was just
Absolutely.
curious what that's like because my stuff is not life and death. My stuff is not, hundreds of thousands of dollars that these people need to move
Right.
on.
Get
But
their
for
business
you,
back
yeah,
open.
because now I've seen you take calls and you're completely, like you run the race a few times. So you don't panic.
Been around the track. a
And you're
couple
good
times.
with it.
Yeah.
But that first time you get that call, that's got to be a rush of adrenaline, but also like, this is on my shoulders, right?
Yeah, it's definitely something that I feel very responsible to these clients because our clients aren't, they're not just a number to us. They're people to us. They're friends. They're part of our family and our agency, really. And so I definitely feel a responsibility to those folks and helping make sure that everything's taken care of and that they're happy and that everything's good. And that's really what it's all about, taking care of the people around you. And
Well, it's got to be a good feeling because, again, you guys could take on anybody, but there are some people, I know there's people that you've turned down because, they've got issues, you want to help them, but some people are just uninsurable, or they won't listen to direction. If they just want state minimum, but they're not really protecting themselves overall, that's not what you guys do.
No.
So, I'm thinking of one specific case where a guy brought in, I mean, he had more yellow notes than I've ever seen in my life. And I'm like, this guy's got bigger problems than anybody can handle. But you did set him on a course of somebody who could get him where he needed to go. He just wasn't perfect for you. So it's not that you're just taking all comers either.
No, we are very, we're selective about the people we do business with, whether that's, on the insurance company side, as far as our markets are concerned, or whether it's a client. It's, we're not the 800 number.
Right. There isn't, well, if somebody needed you, what's the latest or earliest you've ever taken a call? Like you personally got to take a call?
I've taken calls past midnight. Taken calls past midnight. I've taken calls at the crack of dawn.
On your cell phone?
Yeah.
That was my point, is if you have these big platform insurance companies,
yeah,
you can call the 800 number anytime you want.
Yeah, but what's the expertise or knowledge base of the person you're speaking to?
Well, it's a call center, right?
It's a call center, yeah.
So you guys are actually, you're still in the pit digging this hole with these people and helping them out.
Absolutely, man. I'm in the trenches every day.
But it makes a big difference, right, to have somebody on your side like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've heard you guys say that to people at little meetings you've had or just in conversation, hearing you on the phone. Is that what you base the soul of what you do, like the moral structure of your company is, you call us, we're going to pick up that phone? I've heard you say it before.
That's a very big part of it. Yeah, absolutely. It comes back to just being that trusted outlet resource for our clients from start to finish. It's not just selling you a policy, it's writing a policy that's proper coverage for you at the right price in a good market with a good company, stable company, and then being there to follow through. Not really if, but when you need us, being there for you.
I love that phrase. It's not if, it's when.
Absolutely.
That's what this show should have been called. Not the inside look. It's not if, it's when.
Yeah.
Before we get out of here for the day,
yeah,
what is the strangest claim that you ever had to deal with? See, I knew it to put you on the spot.
Yeah, you said you weren't going to throw me any curveballs.
I wasn't going to ask you anything technical, but I just remembered Larry said, I've got to go over because somebody has a dog in their policy that they don't even own anymore. And I thought, well, what is that? I don't even know what that means. They were insured for a dog that no longer existed, but they'd been paying for it for a couple of years. I just didn't know if there's one of those that you're like, you came back and said, Larry, I have no idea what we're supposed to do with this.
I can't really think of anything offhand.
It's all right. It's coming. Just because I brought it up, it's like when you say...
Now it's escaping my thoughts.
Yeah, if I say don't think of elephants, all of a sudden you're thinking of an elephant. There you go. You're going to get something weird.
It's like there's 10 elephants walking through the room now.
That was just a little question because I was always curious, what's the oddest thing you've ever encountered in a job?
You run into some crazy stuff, for sure.
Tell people how they can get a hold of you guys, especially if they want to get a hold of you directly, because Larry is on assignment, we'll say. So Alex is in charge of the joint for the next, say, 5 to 10 days.
Yeah, absolutely. So the easiest way to reach me personally, you can call my cell anytime, 740-506-3559. Again, that number is 740-506-3559. And you can also find us on the web at Gessel, GESSELINS.com. Again, that's GesselIns.com.
And then we're starting to get that Facebook build up and Instagram. Is that what we're doing now? Is that our main charge? I hope it is.
That's part of our emphasis. You've seen I took a big step back from my social media myself.
Well, I wasn't even sure you were. If someone doesn't have a Facebook account, I'm right. Even if they're in front of me, I'm not sure they're a real person. So I'm like, Alex, I cannot find you on social media. And so now we've got a lot to put on social media. I see you're very active now.
Yeah.
But if they can follow you on Facebook and Instagram.
Absolutely,
now, right?
Absolutely.
Before we get out of here, any last words of wisdom, or you just wanted you to go out and be nice to everybody?
Be nice. Yeah, that's what Dad would say, right?
It is. But since you're in the captain's chair, I thought you were going to do your own. Actually, just make it your own. When he comes back, just steal it from him. When he comes back, he's trying to end the show like, Dad, I got one thing.
That's part of the fight to the death thing. Like,
that's
I'm
right.
Gonna steal your your signature line too there, man.
That's right. Well, Alex, this was awesome. I'm so glad we got to do this.
Cool.
And I'm glad people got to hear who you were more than when we're interviewing people and they just go,
Absolutely.
why is there another guy interviewing another guest? Why don't you send us home for the week?
All right, y'all have a great day. Talk soon.
That's it's completely fine.
Cool. All right, y'all have a